Jay Viper on X. This gaslight part of the MasterCard earned 3 community notes. Absolutely wrecked. So we talked about this post from MasterCard and how it was filled with lies by omission, half-truths, and lots of gaslighting, enough to fill a room and pass you out. Well, they have 3 community notes that got added to it. This is the post initially. Here is the post that I saw that got stuck to it. Both Steam and Itch have stated their removal of adult content came from pressure made by payment processors, including MasterCard. And while not my favorite source in the world, it does link The Guardian. Also, furthermore, MasterCard and other payment processors have a documented history of refusing service to Japanese retailers over legal adult content. And it's got Otaku US Magazine as one of the sources as well. Currently rated as helpful. People are notating everything that MasterCard is saying here. They got noted so hard that multiple notes were put together on this. Current status, helpful. Top tags, directly addresses post claims, provides important context, and the note author here. By the way, community notes are so incredible for honesty on the platform. It's amazing. And the fallout for Visa and MasterCard is not as bad as I would have thought, but still pretty bad when it comes to their stocks. We got, over the past 5 days, since most of this started coming down the pipe, MasterCard down 1.63% over the past 5 days, and Visa down 4.89% in the last 5 days. So nearly 5% down for Visa, which is a good amount for a massive company. That's billions upon billions of dollars in 5 days that are lost. Can't directly attribute it to what's happening right now, but I imagine it's not helping the situation for them. Then we have V, who says, since Steam already bans adult content with minors and all video games must contain fictional characters that do not look like real humans, which games did MasterCard consider illegal adult games? It's a good point. At the end of the day, a video game is like writing a book. And as far as I know, there is no book that you can write which would be illegal, unless maybe denying the Holocaust in Europe. And I don't think any of the games banned were like that. For the most part, books seem to be fine in the modern age of society. But video games, no. Video games are too bad because reasons. Please explain a couple good things here that he says. If they're fictional characters that do not look like real humans, why are they considered illegal adult games? What kind of sick, twisted person is playing these games or watching these games and being like, yeah, that's sick, twisted, and illegal adult games can't be sold? Why? What's your reason? There is no transparency with MasterCard or Visa or PayPal or any of these Stripe services that are telling people why the game is banned, why it's not. And Madam Savvy dives into a little bit further detail on it. She says, MasterCard says it will absolutely make judgment calls regardless of legality, thanks to their incredibly vague rule language. This was the rule cited by Steam when talking to payment processors. Card companies are a utility like power and water, not a brand. They should be treated as such and act as it. I agree, but the problem that you're going to run into with treating a card company like a utility is utilities are typically regional or per country, like set up in a contained area. Visa and MasterCard are worldwide, and I'm sure they have offices in New York and LA, but I'm sure they also have offices in Paris and Rome and places in China and Tokyo, and I'm sure they're everywhere, massive offices everywhere. So it's not like you can treat them like a utility everywhere across the globe, because they're everywhere. It's different. It's not sectioned off. And I don't know if there's like a government rule that could come in to change that, but right now how it operates, it doesn't work that way. She highlighted here, she said, the sale of a product or service, including an image, which is patently offensive and lacks serious artistic value, such as, by way of example, and underlined here, and not by limitation, which I'm so glad she underlined that, because that right there creates a very ambiguous rule that the rule is actually nullified. If there, it's like saying the rule is there is no rule. What's the point of the rule then? That's what this says right here. Images of non-consensual that of a person or that or any other material that the corporation deems unacceptable to sell in connection with a mark. Visa and MasterCard, I understand that they are a corporation. They have to create their brand and all that to get to where they were. They have grown so big now that everyone has to use them. They are the de facto option of purchasing. Everything seems to end up going through them. Even if you think your payment is going through something else, chances are it could be funneled through and ends up with Visa or MasterCard at the end of the day, and you don't even know that they're a part of it. That's how deep it goes with them. And if they have the ability to deem an item unacceptable to sell connected to their brand because they're worried about what their brand looks like, that in itself should be inherently illegal. They do not have the jurisdiction because they're so big and can decide the success or failure of a company based off of if they work with them or not. They should not be the arbiter of truth when it comes to that. They should have to follow and default to the local government of what that government allows or doesn't allow. It should not be MasterCard and Visa deciding that. It should be the government, elected officials, or depending on where you are in other parts of the world that aren't elected, but they're in charge, falling to what they say and what's allowed there. Because if we are allowing MasterCard and Visa to be the arbiter of truth when it comes to this at the end of the day, ultimately, it's going to destroy creativity, freedom of speech, and video games, the video game industry in general. And it's a very scary future for that. But there is a potential alternative on the horizon coming from Elon Musk. And Elon Musk gave an update specifically on what he's working on with his X payments. This comes from Grums. He says, really looking forward to X payments, but without legislation protecting rights. There is only so much X payments can do. Need both approaches. This is from Defiant L's. Elon Musk says the release of X money or X finance is hopefully only a few months away. X is as much as possible is about ensuring freedom. So let's hear. Kind of funny coming from Defiant L's, but let's hear what he has to say here.
X money or X finance release, which is hopefully only a few months away. We actually have it operating in beta within the company. That'll be a major factor. But X is as much as possible about ensuring freedom, like freedom of speech within as much as we can within the bounds of the law. Also, like aspirationally trying to reach for the truth of things. Like you see that
as much as people on the other side of the fence may hate this guy's guts, like when he starts doing stuff like this, you got to realize that you got to set your differences aside and say, he's trying to fix shit. Whether you like him or not should not be a part of that. He's trying to fix shit because it is a broken situation right now.
In community notes, where community notes will correct someone, even if they're very powerful. Community notes will correct me. It'll correct presidents, CEOs, even major advertisers, and even if that costs money. So I think it's generally, there's a lot of good things that have happened. We're trying to improve the algorithm, which we know kind of sucks right now. Sorry about that.
No, not at all. I actually enjoy it, but
okay, good.
So that's Elon Musk talking about how they are actively working on X payments. And I, for one, could not be more excited about the potential of that. I think that would be a catastrophic market disruptor for Visa and MasterCard, to the point of like, I'm going to get next level here. If I was Elon, I'd hire some extra security and be very careful where I'm going, because you start messing with those corporations and their money, I don't think it matters how big you are and how much money you have, because yikes, that they take that shit very seriously, and it's something very exciting. I'm hopeful to see it come to fruition and get there, but we will see. We'll see where it ends up. I just wanted to bring all that to you about the situation with MasterCard, Visa, and X payments, because this situation is not done, not by a long shot. And there is, I think, a promising future to come from all of it. Ultimately, once we get through this shit show of censorship that we're dealing with in the present moment. But I will leave that one there.